Perfect. Guys, first of all, thank you for giving us your time. Right. Pawan, I want to quickly ask you, do you invest in IPOs? There was one that went live today, so I'm just quickly taking a check.
Sorry, didn't get the question again.
No, but...
Great. You won't tell us, no? Did you participate in any IPOs recently, mobility IPOs?
I think we are busy building our business here.
Right. Pawan, jokes apart, congratulations on your, milestone. You've just become a unicorn. But how does it feel personally? Is it exciting? Is it, taking away your stress or putting more stress? Tell us.
I think this year has been super fortunate for us. And we take a lot of pride in achieving few milestones. Just a couple of months ago, for the first time after 9 years of journey, we completed 1 billion rides in this country. And at the same time, the category that was facing a lot of questions, bike taxi, for the first time after 9 years again, we are now clocking more than 1 million rides in that single category.
Wow.
And
very nice.
we have been, so we take a lot more pride in reaching these milestones. And we take a lot more pride again when we are installing on these simple initiatives, like when we are installing safety belts, seat belts in a 4-decade-old vehicle like an auto. We take a lot of pride. The rest is all BAU for us.
I think that deserves a round of applause. Big round of applause. Billions and millions.
Perfect. Actually, not just Pawan. Rohan, you also recently raised around 103 million, right? Just talk to us in one sentence. Tell us how investor expectations change after that, please.
I think for us it remains the same. To be honest, I think fundraisers are more of an outcome. The input is the effort that the team has put in building a new category of audio series, of audio entertainment.
Okay.
I would say that, of course, it brings in more responsibility because, when you're just getting started, you don't really have any, you're pretty free to do anything you want. You don't have any baggage, right?
Okay.
But I think when you raise rounds, you'll have more responsibilities.
Exactly.
But I think for us, nothing changes. It's pretty much the same thing every day.
Perfect. Pulkit, even you raised a round recently, right? Just talk to us about that, please.
That's a common connect between all our...
No, I think I'm an odd one out, so.
You've also raised funds.
Not recently.
I think it's a new category that we're trying to create. Definitely very strong tailwinds. Things have changed since we started. We are barely a 4-year-old company, but at the time when we were starting, people were questioning whether EVs will happen in India. At least that's one worry less for us now, that people believe it would happen. The question is how and when. And we are definitely enjoying a category which has those tailwinds as well as consumer awareness now. It is extremely capital intensive in terms of anyone who is trying to build anything in EV, whether OEMs or battery manufacturers, people like us who are most serving and a horizontal layer for servicing commercial vehicles, whether 2-wheelers and 3-wheelers. So capital would be needed at all points of time. We have deployed over $100 million in just assets on the network, and we're barely serving 2% of EVs right now. So it's going to be a very long road for us.
Perfect. Sanket, you said it's been a while. Can we expect a new round then?
I don't, at least nothing's on my table yet.
Right. Talking of money, I think we have to talk about this as well. All the consumer-facing businesses do face one common issue, right? I think Uber's CEO, when he was here, he also spoke about how Indians are very demanding and they are not ready to pay, right? I'm going to come to you, Rohan, on that. Is that why most of your revenues come from US? How do you see this pattern emerging in Pocket FM?
No, I think even in India, Pocket FM has done really well. I think one thing we've realized is that users do pay for value. It's not as if Indian users don't pay at all. In fact, in India, we have the largest, India is the largest market amongst all other markets in terms of scale of paying users. Sure, US ARPUs are higher, but when it comes, it's an apple and orange comparison, right? When it comes to, comparing two different markets. But I feel when it comes to paying users, we have seen, we clock around, I think, 4 million transactions every month today. So it's not that in India, I mean, so it's not like Indians don't pay, they just pay for value. So if you can create, if you can create content which provides value to them, I don't think that's a challenge.
Do you resonate with this, Sanket?
Yeah, I mean, look, India is always going to be very large in terms of users for everyone. However, what I think is it has to completely do with the average household income. Like, you go out in Bangalore, you have a dosa, you have spent $200, $3. You go out in the US, if you're in New York, you're probably spending $15. That's really the mindset, and that's how things are charged in certain forms. Also, you're looking at 70-80% gross margins for most businesses. You can't really pull down the price. What I believe really about India is that India has infinite appetite for actually everything just at a particular price point. And one person who does this exceptionally well in India is really Mukesh Ambani, right? Like Jio is priced right. And that shows that once the market's built, there's tremendous appetite, but at a price. And I think we got to learn that and deliver at that price. Otherwise, it's always going to be this.
Right.
Perfect. Pawan, actually, you can shed some more light on this. You're in a very competitive business, right? Every time Bhavya wants to go home, she's opening 3 apps, checking where the fastest and cheapest ride comes, right? Just talk to us about how you ensure customer loyalty in that kind of space, please.
I think customer loyalty has a different definition in this age and era. Sure. Yes, the modern age user, because the switching costs are much lesser, he is always on the lookout. The only way you can build loyalty is we keep building more user value. And that is what we have seen it working time and again. So what the value proposition that you are offering to your users, maybe 6 months ago, it's not valid anymore. So you need to keep innovating. I think that is one thing we at Rapido keep focusing on, and fortunately it's working well.
Like you founders love to say, every day is day one.
Huh?
Every day is day one.
That's it.
0.
Day 0, sorry.
You just threw me under the bus saying I have all the apps. No, I just have Rapido, Pawan.
We can
Because
check.
we are the fastest as well as the lowest price.
Perfect.
Yes.
Right. Talking of, competition, Sanket, I want to come to you. You operate in a space, which if, let's say, one of the tech titans decide to launch a feature, it could get disrupted in a way, right? I mean, how do you see this? How do you win this game?
There are certain questions that I don't really ask myself. And I think,
We'll ask them for you.
We'll ask that.
yeah. I think it comes down to strategy, right? Like you are really, while you're doing all of this, you're keeping 200, 300 things in mind. 5 of them are really what you are asking that, hey, where will the competition go? When will the competition go there? Are they large enough? And then you start operating in a particular place where how we think about before going to any segment really is that what insights do we have? What do we know that is just unique to us? Most likely it's contrarian, it's opinionated. And second is, can we win that segment? And once we identify that, we really go after that segment and our best product for that particular user. So an outsider, we might feel like we are a video creation software, but what we are really serving is a niche segment where we are the best and we don't think competition will become great there. And then layer it from there on. And I personally believe that that is how most disruption really happens. So most disruption happens where a larger player thinks that, hey, this segment is not great, why are they going after that? And then you slowly layer it into becoming a giant. But every segment you went after were winnable and you had some differentiation there and you had some core insights. And I think that is why and how it will get built. But otherwise, we really run the risk of what you just asked, and we'll take that 5% chance usually, right? Like I think world does belong to optimists on that end.
So find your differentiator, USP, and double down on that, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but I think that's also craft, that's love for what you do. It's not very, we all say that find the unique insight, but no one really talks about what does an A+ answer to an insight looks like. And it's about, right, the quest to find that A+ answer.
Perfect. Pulkit, extending that to you, a lot of EV leaders have said battery swapping will not work and cannot work, right? I know founders love to prove people wrong. I mean, how do you see it? Do you see it as a challenge or does it make you lose sleep at night?
I think when you're building, you don't really have time to answer all the naysayers, and your numbers have to speak the loudest, right? Day before yesterday, we did 1 lakh swaps in a day.
Hey, wow.
I think that's large enough to tell that swapping can work. And we are at the same time growing almost 15 to 20% month on month. We have a 2 lakh customer wait list. So it's definitely the consumer who speaks whether they want a value, whether they're getting a value out of service or not, right? And this brings me back to your previous discussion point around what would the consumers pay in India, right? Our users typically earn less than $10 a day. These are bottom of pyramid commercial vehicle drivers like a e-rickshaw or a gig worker. Some of them could be, say, Rapido drivers or working with Swiggy, Zomato, etc., right? And they pay almost 25 to 30% of what they earn to us on a daily basis. So your value proposition has to be strong enough for them to really see that this is either adding more to their bottom line or easing their life, right? Which we're trying to do both the things. We are making EVs more affordable. They can buy a scooter for half the cost without a battery. And we are essentially eliminating any downtime of charging. And they can really run more than 100 kilometers a day if they want to.
Perfect.
Wow. I love this plan. It's full of numbers, 2 lakh on your waiting list itself. Wow, that's big. Right. Pulkit, just a small follow-up on that. We seem to have cracked the code for the EVs, right? I mean, we have a lot of manufacturers and they are going big, scaling up. But what about batteries and cells in particular? How long will that journey be to win that game,
So as a country, the issue is that we are starting 10 years late. Where we stand today, China was there in 2015 itself. And we would be second runners in that race for the longest while. But then at the same time, there's a lot of government push that is happening. Multiple companies are starting cell manufacturing and should go live by next year or so. We would still have to figure out how to source lithium, how to set up refining and mining in India to be self-reliant. But that problem exists for almost everyone in the world when China is controlling 80% of the lithium supplies today.
That's true, yeah.
At the same time, they have already served majority of the low-hanging domestic demand, and they're sitting on overcapacity on the 70 gigawatt hour plus production that they have. And that is helping India today because the battery prices are going down, which would help us to add more EVs to the road, because the prices, most likely by this year end, you will see that the electric two-wheeler will be lower priced than a ICE two-wheeler, and cars are maybe 2 years down the line. So I think it's both good and bad.
Perfect. I'll just extend on that, and to all four of you gentlemen, Rohan, we'll go with you first. Just tell us one exciting thing that we can expect in the next 3 to 6 months from you, and then we can extend it to the rest of them, please.
I think one of the most exciting things we are working on is, how do you use generative AI to create more value for our writers? In the sense that I think fundamentally what we are seeing is that AI will be a fundamental shift in sort of shifting the balance of power to creators to create more high quality content. For instance, in our case, audio series, which is a new category, right? How do you enable writers to be able to create high quality audio series on their own without anyone's help, right? So that will just democratize the creation of content. So in that respect, we're working on a lot of interesting AI tools, which is the one that we're about to launch in the next 3 to 6 months will be more on adaptation. So let's assume you're a writer in the India market or in the US market, and you have written a great show, but you want to expand your audience beyond India or beyond the US, right? So imagine how, you choose a language and you press a button and the show gets launched in another language. Oh, wow. It gets adapted, not translated.
Very interesting.
So I think we're working on that. That I think will just think about a writer anywhere in the world can get access to a global audience with a click of a button. So that's
3 months away?
Yeah, 3 months away.
Perfect. Pawan, you? Can we expect auto sharing now?
Oh, I do. Now I realize you are not a Rapido user. We actually already have auto share. Like,
but in all cities?
Huh?
In all cities?
In all cities, not yet.
Exactly.
But the city that deserves it the most, Bangalore, and that is one of the most exciting things, not just for us, for a lot of people here. I think a few of the solutions that we are working towards right now, it is actually geared towards how do we solve the Bangalore commute woes, and not just Bangalore. It is extended to all the tier 1 cities, especially Delhi and Mumbai. So all these 3 major cities, how can we enable our transport solutions and decongest the roads? More sharing and leveraging more existing infrastructure. So that is one thing. The other thing that we are currently working on us. While we already have created around 7 million plus jobs until now, 70 lakh jobs
Wow, that's great.
until now. And we currently create 1.5 lakh new jobs every month. We are now trying to figure out how can we increase that scale. And that is something that you are going to hear from us in the next 6 months.
Hey, that's very nice.
Wonderful.
Pulkit, you want to take that next?
I think you covered most of the NCR in terms of our presence. We have almost 600 locations in NCR, but Bangalore really hasn't seen the magic of swapping. So next 6 months, hopefully, we should be completely covering Bangalore as well and serving the gig workers here. I think that should be something that people can expect from us.
Sanket, from you and from
Yeah.
NVIDIA in general?
Look, NVIDIA has gone from 0 to $40 million in revenue in 2 weeks short of a year. And I think we are launching a homegrown model in next few weeks. And I think it will be one of the most utilized AI models in the world just because of our scale. And which will be not fine-tuned, but really built from scratch, from India, launched inside the product. So it's very exciting. And the second thing is, essentially we are on the quest that how can you and me create great videos? And you have a lot of content that you shoot, you have bytes, lighting's not good, etc., etc. I think we'll be able to take all of that content and really come up with something beautiful, high quality that just works. So those are the two things I think we should be able to release and get a lot of usage by the end of the year.
It's almost like I heard Rajan talk, he's the biggest fan of NVIDIA. that we
Exactly.
know.
No wonder why he's the favorite now,
Yeah, but if you look at it, right, like all these companies in the US, Bay Area, Perplexity gets a lot of love, but we are really like twice the revenue scale, probably twice the user scale than them. So I think what we have done from India and why Rajan loves is also, to be honest, I never thought that I would see that day, and it's just surreal and very exciting to have these things hit, right? Like the scale is great. Of course, we have figured out a revenue model. We have not been losing money. Exactly like, basically Rajan thinks that I won't lose his money.
Great. I think we just have a few seconds for this panel, so we want to end with a power-packed, rapid-fire, session. So I'll start with Pawan, you first. For Rapido, what is home? Bangalore or Hyderabad?
Definitely. I think this place has given us the first ride, Koramangala, our own Koramangala BTM HSR. That triangle has given us the first rides. So always indebted to Bangalore.
Perfect. Let's hear it for him, please. Perfect. Rohan, you next. Which other audio series app do you use? And if you can show it us on the phone, if you use any other one.
You have to show us also.
You have to prove it to us.
Audio series
Audio,
apps.
yeah.
I don't think we don't compete with anyone, so I don't think we have a direct competitor.
There's Audible.
Or
There's
there's an
Spotify.
audiobook app. We're an audio series platform.
Audio series, fine. We can
Yeah.
broaden the term now then.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just use Pocket FM. I just consume Pocket FM. I mean, you can check my app. I don't have any other app.
We'll check it out when
Check
we
it out.
goes.
Done.
Yeah. For you, Sanket, your one message to OpenAI Sora team.
Or Perplexity. Either
Yeah.
one. You can choose.
No, Sora team, release fast.
Pulkit, you spoke about covering the NCR belt, right? What is that one thing that Gurugram or Gurgaon has that Bangalore doesn't? What's keeping you there and not making you
More
move?
IPOs.
There's one that went live today. Pawan's a big fan, I'm guessing.
On
that's
that
it from
note,
mine.
time's also
Thank
up.
you,
Thank
guys.
you so much. This was a great session. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.